Growing up, I experienced sexual abuse for the first time when I was 14. It happened again when I was 15, when I was 16, and again when I was 18. At this point, I truly was a scarred individual. When I was 18, it was brutal and aggressive, and it stole the light right from my soul. Going into college as an 18-year-old, I was supposed to be this adult with all this responsibility, but inside I was dark and sad and miserable. When I was in business school, I only continued to re-victimize myself over and over again, allowing all of this hurt to spill out all over the place. In 2012, one of my professors started really calling me out, trying to see what I was doing with my degree and if I would switch to an HR major, but I always went back to, I want to help people. I want to use my degree to help people. And I thought that I wanted to start a therapeutic riding program using horses because my horses growing up affected me so much. They saved me and kept me going and kept me responsible and kept me dreaming and kept a little flicker of light inside of me that I will forever be grateful for. So this professor convinced me to go on a trip to Cambodia, and at first I was like, no, I'm not going to Cambodia. I had a lot of financial burden that I was dealing with. I was paying my own tuition, and it just seemed unreasonable and unrealistic to be able to go on a trip like this. But I thought about it and I was suddenly compelled, I need to go on this trip. So I started gathering the finances, sending out letters to family and friends, telling them that I wanted to go on this trip to Cambodia. I was going to be taking classes at the same time, still working towards my business degree. And it was a few days I had left to come up with the rest of the money for the trip, and I just didn't think that it was a possibility. And I showed up to work. I was a barista at the time, and there was an envelope with my name on it. And I opened it up, and it was anonymously donated from one of my customers. And it was the exact amount of money that I needed to go on this trip. So here I am, 2012, off to Cambodia, not truly understanding why I was even going, but in my heart knew I needed to be going on this trip. I get there and they tell me that I'm gonna be working in a human trafficking shelter. So the first day I walk into this shelter, all these little girls just looked at me, and I looked at them and I broke down. The youngest girl was 4 years old. Another had her eyes gouged out so she would stop running away. And I just sat there and I could not handle that weight. So I stepped outside and cried and sat on the steps and just looked around at where I was and what I was seeing. And all of the little girls came out there and sat with me around the steps. And we all cried together. We didn't have to say a single word, but all of us could see the pain in each other's eyes. But the difference at this point in my life was that I also saw all the hope and the light in all of our eyes. And at that moment, I made a promise to myself and a promise to every single one of those little girls that I would never stop fighting for them. And I would never stop talking about what is happening and what is going on in the world to so many little girls. It is not okay. So I emailed my professor and I told him about what I had seen, and he emailed me back and told me that this subject was very important to him as well. So we started working on a project where I was developing a business plan to start a ranch for girls who had been human trafficked in the United States. Well, as the years unraveled, the business plan started to change, and I started feeling called to start a business where these girls could come and work and get job experience and build their resumes and be financially free. One of the biggest problems with human trafficking prevention is that there are no programs for these girls to come out of, go into shelters, get rehab, and come to a point in their life where they're ready to spread their wings and maybe step out. Well, there are no resources for them at all. They don't want to go to job interviews and explain why they have no work experience or no resume. And not only that, going to a job interview for these girls is a big deal. Going to strangers, going and stepping out is hard. So that is why I decided Northern Light Coffee was the way to change this. We are going to offer internship programs for these girls to come live right here at Northern Light. They can participate in our program that will focus on 3 key elements to life: spirituality, job satisfaction, and physical wellness. Spirituality means that we will do daily devotionals, we will spend time in the Word of God, we will expand their relationship with God. The physical well-being is very important to me. Eating healthy, having a healthy mind and body, staying physically active, riding horses and shooting archery and gardening, some of the things that in my own life have brought me to a place of healing and restoration. And then to top it all off, they need work. They need to be making money. They need to feel satisfied in the things that they're doing. So what better way to do that than to work for a company that is working for them and fighting against an evil that has taken so much away from them for their whole entire life.